most confusing missing child stories people had ever heard. But the trouble didn't really start on that day, it started long before. Lily and Jack lived in a quiet place far away from big towns. They were caught between two different families. Their mom, Mahea Brooks Murray, was from the CY First Nation, the biggest Mi'kmaq community in Nova Scotia. But the man who raised them wasn't their real dad. Their real father is almost like a ghost in this story. His name or reports. Some people think he might have been under house arrest, but no one knows for sure. It's like he just disappeared from their lives 3 years ago. Later, Mahea met a man named Daniel Robert Martel. He was 33 years old, tall and skinny, with sharp eyes. He worked at a lumber mill, but only 1 day a week. People wondered how he could take care of 5 people with so little work. No one ever gave a good answer. That question became the first warning sign in a case full of strange things. Daniel lived in his old family house on Garlock Road in a tiny place called Lansdowne Station. Only about 100 people live there, and most of them are related to each other. The area was very lonely. No cell phone signal, just dirt roads, big trees, and silence. The closest town was a 15-minute drive away. Daniel lived in an old trailer with his mom, a bunch of cats, and 1 dog. The place was messy and run down, and it would soon become the scary setting for what happened next. In May 2023, Mahea made a big decision. She moved in with Daniel. She brought Lily, Jack, and her baby daughter, Meadow. For Mahea, who was from a Mi'kmaq community, moving into a mostly white, faraway area where she was the only indigenous person around was a really big change. People wondered, why would a young mom with 3 kids leave her family and her community behind? The real reason, no one talks about it. It's still a secret. After they moved, Lily and Jack started going to a small school called Salt Springs Elementary. Only 86 kids went there. Their bus driver, Brian Ward, remembered them clearly. Lily always sat at the front on the right. She would sometimes scream loudly when she was excited. Lily, you can't do that, Ward told her many times. He said she acted like a drama queen. Jack was more playful and talkative. If Ward didn't respond to him, Jack would throw his boots at the front of the bus to get attention. But here's the strange part. Their parents said both kids had undiagnosed autism and struggled to talk. That didn't match what others saw. The mom said the kids talked to everyone. The biological father's side.
Jack throwing boots at the bus driver, I guess. I guess he wanted somebody to talk to, daggum. I guess he wasn't paying attention till he'd throw one.
Claimed the kids didn't talk at all. The teachers said the kids weren't shy, but they didn't speak much either. So which one was true? How could the kids be talkative, silent, and quiet all at once? It didn't make sense, and it was just one of many things about this case that didn't add up. The family's trailer was old and white, with toys and broken car parts in the yard. Inside the small kitchen, there were kids' drawings on the walls. One drawing was from Lily. It said, "My mom makes cupcakes, plays with toys, and watches movies. I love my mom." Jack painted a red bug. He loved digging in the dirt to find worms. Just outside the trailer, the woods were filled with scattered toys, like kids had been playing and suddenly stopped. The last week of April 2025 was when everything started going wrong. The kids were last seen at school on Tuesday, April 29th. Brian Ward dropped them off at the end of the long dirt road that day. After that, he never saw them again. At first,
Now, he said he dropped them off.
kids had undiagnosed autism and struggled to talk. That didn't match what others saw. The mom said the kids talked to everyone. The biological father's side claimed the kids didn't talk at all. The teachers said the kids weren't shy, but they didn't speak much either. So which one was true? How could the kids be talkative, silent, and quiet all at once? It didn't make sense, and it was just one of many things about this case that didn't add up. The family's trailer was old and white, with toys and broken car parts in the yard. Inside the small kitchen, there were kids' drawings on the walls. One drawing was from Lily. It said, "My mom makes cupcakes, plays with toys, and watches movies. I love my mom." Jack painted a red bug. He loved digging in the dirt to find worms. Just outside the trailer, the woods were filled with scattered toys, like kids had been playing and suddenly stopped. The last week of April 2025 was when everything started going wrong. The kids were last seen at school on Tuesday, April 29th. Brian Ward dropped them off at the end of the long dirt road that day. After that, he never saw them again.
Now, how's that work out? Okay. No, no, that don't make sense. They said Thursday evening they had a party there. Sometime Thursday night or Friday morning, the kids come up gone. So they would have had one day left during the week to go to school. Would have been that Friday. But now he's saying that the last time he saw them was when he took them to the end of the drive on Friday morning. So this here sleep, junk, and all that see that throws it out. Every time the idiot throws something out, it wipes away what he's already said. So there's no way that they were in and out of sleep and him be able to take them to the end of the drive. What's he gonna do? Take them into the drive and leave one shoe on, one shoe off, and the Jack go to the end of the bus or end of the driveway with him? I guess I don't know, in just a pamper, and it pouring down rain. I mean, that's not even logic. Yeah, and they said that Friday evening, midday, they seen Jack and Lily riding around with family in town. But that don't add up neither, because that's the day she left. But when she left, she said she took the baby and the other two with her. So how in the hell did he take them down to the or her to the bus stop in the driveway, but yet they were already gone? Now, yesterday, plain as day, they said that we woke up and they just wasn't nowhere around. Went out the sliding glass door. That's a daggum lie. Now he's told another one. They took them to the end of the road. That's a daggum lie. I can't stand that. Yeah, Friday morning. Friday morning. They had a party Thursday. I got proof in the pudding right there that female that's speaking for them right there seen them Thursday night and early Friday morning in their room. But he's saying Friday morning he took them to the bus stop and never seen them again. So how many tales are they going to tell? No wonder they're fixing to get their butt in trouble. They can't even keep school dates straight. So therefore, that school bus driver knows that bus too and is covering for them. Yeah, supposedly they was outside playing, slipped out the glass door, and then just vanished. But no, he got up and took them to the end of the drive and then ain't seen them since. Dang. Right. If he was asleep, he wouldn't have known. But he said out of his own mouth he took him to the end of the drive Friday, the day they went missing, supposedly. But they've been missing school all week, according to the teachers. That's why they have been missing longer than what he says. Because teachers said they ain't been in school all week long. So with him spilling the beans of that, taking them to the end of the road on Friday, there goes everything he done said. Yeah, claimed to what they was wearing, this, that, and other. Well, how come her backpack was left in that backyard? How come one of her boots was under the sofa in the living room? How come they wasn't but one footprint of hers there? Where's his print? Where's Jack's print? Uh, why after they did a search and come back wanting to do it again, why'd they find bloody underwear, sock, and some other stuff? There's no way you can do both of them things. If you're asleep, kid slips out and playing in the yard, and you claim you know it, but the mama says she didn't know it, said we was asleep, heard them playing in the next room, but they were outside playing, but we wouldn't know where. That was her very words, but we wouldn't know where. So how in the world would they know they're outside? How would they know what they're wearing? He didn't bit more take him to the end of the drive, nothing. Lying. Yeah, claimingly, yeah. Took him to the bus stop. Well, the first fell on well Thursday. Thursday they had a party. Okay. Well, Friday morning, the second, uh, it was reported that they're gone. But he just said that morning he took them to the bus stop and they got on the bus. Well, how's that work out? Because Malaya left him that next morning. So something happened Thursday night into Friday morning. But to him, he claims, yeah, I took her down to the end of the drive. She went to school. That's a damn lie because the school said they ain't been there all week long. It don't none of it make no sense. Well, they said on paperwork I wrote down said uh, Lily had some blood on her. She was hurt a little, um, but they also said that there was none of them being nice or good to Jack either. Hey, Paula, how you doing, love? So yeah, I think it was out of just a freak out. I think it was because of drugs. They just flipped out. I think it's because she was cheating. I think all that mess. Uh, yeah, oh yeah, her leaving that definitely did it. Paula, now listen to this, Paula. He just claimed that Friday morning he took Lily to the school bus at the end of the drive and hadn't seen them since. How does that work out? If he called them Thursday reporting that they was gone, but they claimed that they was asleep. Yes, I believe you. I pray you have a good one. This is just stupid.
At first, Daniel told people the kids only missed Thursday and Friday because Lily
That they only missed Thursday, Friday. Schoolhouse said they ain't been there all week.
was sick. Later, he said they hadn't been to school all week. A teacher remembered
There you go. There you go.
seeing Lily on Monday, but nothing after that. So what happened between April 29th and May 2nd? That's still a mystery.
There you go. 29th, first Thursday, second Friday. They were not there. But he claims he took them to the bus stop now. But before then, they was both asleep, incoherent, and just coming in and out of sleep. And they were out in the yard playing, but they didn't know it. What kind of tale is that? Yeah, it is.
No one outside the family saw Lily or Jack in those 3 days. Police haven't said if
Wait a
anyone
minute.
else.
That answers your question. That right there just answered your question, Tanya. You said, did not the family be seen with the kids? No, they did not. It just said so right there. They were not seen with the kids because they were already reported gone.
Saw or spoke to Lily and Jack during those missing days. So what really happened in those quiet hours? Why did the children suddenly vanish? Seen only by the people inside that lonely house on Garlock Road. The morning of May 2nd, 2025, started like any other Friday at the trailer, but it would soon turn into something that felt almost unreal.
Yeah, they're saying that they seen them, but his timeline of saying that they seen them, that they was riding around with the kids, ain't right, because claiming to him Friday morning took them to the end of the driveway to get on the school bus. After they went to school, he ain't seen them again. Schoolhouse is saying they ain't been there all week. He's saying that they did go Friday because he took them to the end of the drive. And there were no signs of them being with other family in public on any camera. Because they're saying they had the kids Friday riding around in town. Well, that didn't happen either. There's no proof of it. But claiming from them, they went missing way before Friday. But now he's saying he took them to the school bus, to the drive down there to the school bus. And they went to school. Ain't seen them since.
What happened that day has confused even the experts. The facts don't match up.
You reckon?
And the stories keep changing. Nothing makes sense. Here's what Mahea said happened. She woke up around 8 a.m. and heard the kids playing in the next room. She said,
"What time school start?" I know I didn't go very many years, but I guarantee you my homeroom class started at 7:45. Yeah, they're walking all over each other. And now that they're talking on the phone, they're really getting it twisted up. See, how are you going to report your children missing on a Friday, but yet you took them to the school bus and seen them get on the school bus and go to school, and ain't seen them since? But on top of that, now he run through that trail, through that pipeline muddy water, all the way up to his waist, searching for the children. He beat the drones. He beat the helicopter. He beat the searchers. He went just as far as he could go till he gave out. What kind of ignorant stuff is that? One print out there in that daggum mud. One. And her muddy boot was found under the love seat in that trailer. I mean, under the sofa in that trailer. Not the first day they looked. Not the third day they looked. When they come back and started to search from the home going. That's when they found the undies, the sock, whatever else was laying out there, her boot under the sofa. So nothing's adding up here. Why would you call them that your kids are missing when you send them off school and watch with your own two eyes that they were on the bus headed to school? 6:30, yeah, because back when I was going to school, you had to be in your homeroom class at 7:45, regardless, or you were tardy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But at least on this one here, her other muddy boot was under the sofa. Mm-hmm. Well, I know. I've done right at 62 sessions with Summer. I've heard it all. And this here, from what we've all been hearing, every bit of it's a daggum lie.
She was half asleep, drifting in and out. She also said she and Daniel were in the bedroom with their baby, Meadow, who was either being fed or was falling asleep. But that part of the story was Daniel told a completely different version. He said Lily came into the bedroom several times, and he could hear Jack.
That's a damn lie. A small female voice plainly said, he kept coming in my room. Didn't say she went in their room. He came in my room. That's a damn lie right there. See, they can't keep nothing straight.
In the kitchen. I asked them to be quiet so the baby could keep sleeping, Daniel said. But that's where the first big problem.
But see, to start with, yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. They figured they could get away with that. They can get away with this. They plainly both said that they was asleep in and out. Heard them in the next room playing, but they were outside playing. But they wasn't aware of them being outside. So they didn't know what was going on. But yet now, he took them to the bus stop. They got on the bus for school, and that's the last time I seen them. So still to this day, just lies.
Shows up. If the baby was still falling asleep, like Mahea claimed, how could Daniel ask the kids to be quiet for a baby that was already sleeping?
Right.
The two stories don't line up. Daniel also said he saw Lily that morning and even remembered what she was wearing. A pink shirt. But when it came to Jack, Daniel said something odd. I didn't see Jack that morning, he claimed. Then, in the same breath, he said, Jack was wearing blue boots with dinosaurs. How can you know what a child was wearing? If you didn't see him, at around 8:20 a.m., both parents said the same thing. The house went completely silent. It just got quiet, Mahea recalled. That's when I jumped out of bed. Daniel said the same thing happened in 20
before sunup morning or either late Thursday night. You can't, but their excuse is they's been loud and went outside, but they wasn't aware that they were outside. But claiming they knowed. And like they said the other day, he claimed that he knowed what they were wearing. But if he was asleep, how in the world would he know? See, you give them an inch, they take a mile. They're hanging themselves like a bunch of dumb nuts.
A time that would later become a key piece of the mystery.
Yeah, exactly. But one of them found under the sofa, muddy, under the sofa in the living room. They wouldn't but one set of print there. Where was his print? Where was Jack's print? You see, but why would they even be going into the trail if all they got to do is walk into the drive and watch them get on a school bus? There's no logic in this.
In this case, it's claimed that two very young children managed to do something that doesn't make sense, not physically, and not in any way that fits normal child behavior. Jack was only 4 years old and still wore pull-up diapers. Lily was 6 and had been coughing that morning. But somehow, both kids quietly got dressed without waking their parents. Jack supposedly put on his blue dinosaur boots. Lily put on her pink boots. And somehow, Lily also found her white backpack with red strawberries, something she didn't use every day. Then comes the creepiest part, the back door. Mahia said in an interview that you can't hear the door when it opens.
That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. They said that back door would not work, would not open. When I asked the children, they said yes, it works. Yeah. Well, back when I was going to school, you didn't start till 7 years old. But I figured now probably 6. So I figured probably uh, Lily was probably in either preschool or kindergarten. And if anything at all, Jack would be like at a child care place or something like that. I don't know. But how would they afford that if he's just only working 1 day a week? None of that adds up. And how would he know what they're wearing if he was asleep? If he walked them to the end of the drive to get on a school bus, that don't make sense neither. And then that'd be the last time he ever saw him. That's not what he's told all along. Exactly. He thinks people are stupid. But that dog won't hunt. I don't care how goofy you are. That will not work.
Also said the door is nearly silent. For a family with little kids, having a silent door like that seems risky, and, in this case, very suspicious. The kids usually left the door wide open when they went outside. Daniel had to remind them all the time to close it. But that morning, they supposedly closed the door carefully behind them. That doesn't match their
No. Yesterday, he said they left the door wide open. But now he didn't say which door. He just said they left the door wide open. I know you would have to take him to the daycare place. You would have to. If that's the case, would the daycare place not say something about him only coming in a diaper and only with no shoes on? It's all a daggum lie.
Usual behavior at all. Outside, there was a fenced yard. For two small kids to climb over that fence by themselves would be almost impossible, unless someone helped them. And then, just like that, Lily and Jack were gone. The ground swallowed them up.
How are they just going to be gone from the yard when he took them to the bus stop and got on the bus? It will not work.
When the parents noticed the kids were missing, their stories didn't line up either. Daniel said he searched the whole house and the backyard right away. He said the kids like to dig for bugs and feed the chickens, so he checked those places first. When he didn't find them, he jumped in the car and started driving down dirt roads and looking in ditches. Mahea stayed home and called 911. She said, "The last few days have been really stressful. That Friday morning when we noticed the kids were gone, it all happened so fast." Daniel also said, "I got in the
Yeah,
car right away and drove."
yeah, they would. And all teachers, every one of them, said that they hadn't seen Lily all week long. But they went to school on Friday, according to him. He made sure they got on the bus. Now, as far as Jack, he wouldn't have been able to get on the bus. You would have had to either get a bus for preschool kids, or you have to take them to the preschool. I had to take my girls to preschool, uh, but then after that, they were nowhere to be found. So, see, they were saying that they slipped out that sliding glass door, was outside playing, but they wasn't aware of it. And they started looking right then. Now the story's changed that he walked them to the end of the drive, got them on the bus, and that's the last time he saw them. But that's ignorant too. But with like I said, with that muddy boot of hers being under that sofa, they know better. The authorities up there ain't that daggone stupid, surely.
Down every dirt road and looked in every culvert I could. But here's where the timeline gets confusing and scary. The 911 call was officially logged around 10 a.m., but one police report says the kids went missing at 8 a.m. So what really happened during those 2 missing hours?
Well, why would there be a 2 hour gap if they got on the school bus? Oh, I know. I know. But why within a 2 hour span call and say your kids are missing when you plainly just said you took them to the end of the road and watched them get on the school bus?
Daniel said he didn't know why there was such a big time gap. The difference between 8 a.m. and the 10 a.m. 911 call was never explained, and that missing hour left a scary hole in the timeline. What really happened during that time? Why did the parents wait so long to ask for help? By the end of that Friday, the stress had exploded. A fight broke out in the yard between Daniel and some of Mahea's relatives. Later, both Mahea Brooks Murray and Daniel Marta, without saying much, she left with her mother and took baby Meadow with her. I haven't seen.
Why would she be in the back of an ambulance? What would have caused her to need an ambulance? Could it be because, again, he was angry and did something, threatened her, or put hands on her? I mean, that's usually the main cause of somebody needing an ambulance. Exactly. Exactly.
Or heard from her since, Daniel said. Just one day after Lily and Jack vanished. The entire.
So Friday. So Friday. But they put him on school bus Friday. And she left Friday.
Entire family had split apart in public. Things got even more troubling when Child Protective Services, CPS, got involved right away. Daniel said he went to the CPS office in Tel Aton to visit his baby daughter, Meadow, but he was told he couldn't see her. "I'm not allowed around Meadow," he said. For someone who claimed he had nothing to do with the disappearance of Lily and Jack, it seemed strange and serious that he was immediately blocked from seeing his own daughter. Then, on May 7th, 2025, something happened that made everything even worse. Staff Sergeant Curtis McGinn stood in front of reporters and said something that sent a chill down everyone's spine. The chance of survival is extremely small. At that point, it had been 6 days since the kids went missing. Every day, over 160 people had searched nonstop. They used search dogs, helicopters, drones, heat cameras, even underwater teams. They looked through every part of the deep forest around Garlock Road. But then, the Nova Scotia police said they were scaling back the search. And what came next in Sin's statement changed everything about how this case was seen. The RCMP's Major Crimes Unit started working on this case on May 3rd, just one day after the kids were reported missing. By day 3, detectives who usually handle murder cases were already involved. That alone showed how serious things had become. Then, on May 8th, something strange happened. The entire RCMP command center, which had been set up to help find Lily and Jack, was suddenly gone. All that was left behind were some tire marks, a few portable toilets, and an old strip of yellow warning tape. It was a scary sight. It looked like the search had changed into something much darker, a crime scene. That same day, things started getting intense for Daniel Martel. RCMP investigators came to the rundown mobile home where Daniel lived. They asked for all electronic devices that might show what really happened and when. Earlier that day, a police helicopter had flown over the house, scanning the area from above. Daniel was brought in for a long interview at the RCMP station in Tel Atin. He had to go over every minute of the morning when the kids disappeared. They searched everywhere, every rock, every path. Daniel later told reporters, "I gave them everything. My bank records, my Google Maps data, everything I had." The police took Daniel's phone and started going through it. They also checked his bank activity and location history. They even asked for tech data to see if any other phones had been on the property that morning. This hinted that
Why in the world would he want a bank account if he's only getting paid once a week?
police were looking for signs someone else might have been there. But then came a surprising twist. Daniel asked to take a lie detector test. The RCMP wouldn't say whether or not they gave him one. The spokesperson, Allison Jarrett, sent an email saying, "To protect the investigation, no further details will be shared at this time." Still, Daniel asking for a polygraph test caught people's.
It don't make no difference what they say now. We've done got it right here on paper. Like I said last night, everything that is said, everything that will be said, everything that will be done, we've already got it on paper.
Attention. Most people are scared of taking one, even if they're innocent. So why did he want it? What did he know? When reporters from Global News reached out to Mejia by phone,
Shake
she
and bake.
said she couldn't talk.
Shake and bake.
The RCMP had
You know
told
as
her
well
not
as
to
I do.
speak to the media. Are encouraged to go on the news and make
Now, wait a minute. How did she, if the kids was missing, how did she tell the kids not to say nothing to nobody in public? Where does that make sense? They said plainly, she told the kids don't say nothing to anybody.
pleas, asking the public for help. So when police told Mejia to stay quiet, it raised serious concerns. It suggested they might see her as a possible suspect, or at least someone who could say something that might hurt the investigation. By the middle of May, experts were pointing out strange things in this case. They said it was unlike anything they'd ever seen in a missing kids investigation. Every single day, more than 160 searchers were out in the woods. They searched a huge area, about 5.5 square kilometers of thick forest around the house. Helicopters flew above. Drones with heat cameras scanned the trees and ground. Search dogs sniffed the area for any sign of Lily and Jack. But the land itself was a nightmare. Trees had fallen over each other, making it hard to walk. Searchers had to climb or crawl to get through. And it was tick season in Nova Scotia, Those tiny bugs can carry serious diseases like Lyme, anaplasmosis, and more. On the fourth day, searchers found something that seemed important, what looked like a small child's footprint. It gave everyone
Remind you not that footprint, just one footprint. And it was not there when they first started doing the search. It's when they come back and started going out again from the home, going out again. That's when they seen her footprint.
hope. Maybe the kids really had gone into the woods. That area was searched even more closely, but nothing else was found. No tracks, no items, no other proof.
That's a damn lie. They said the second time they started out through there, found the footprint. They also found a bloody set of undies for that little girl, a sock, and uh, something else. I forget now what was it. Something else. Three or four items that was not there to start with.
Then, something even stranger happened. Search teams found random items: a pink blanket, some shirts, and a water bottle, all in the woods near the house. Police showed the
And
items to
undies.
Daniel. He said none of them belonged to Lily or Jack. But here's the weird part: there were no other children living nearby. So who left those items in the forest?
He's leaving
And
out the
when?
undie
The
part.
scariest part of the whole search? There were no signs of the kids anywhere. Not even Lily's white backpack with red strawberries. Something Daniel said should have been easy to spot. It was like Lily and Jack had vanished into thin air. Jack's blue boots with dinosaurs, Lily's pink boots, Jack's pull-up diapers. None of it was ever found. Daniel once said about Lily's backpack, "It's probably brown now," as if he could already picture it lying in the mud. But it wasn't just what Daniel said, it was how he said things that started to worry people. He described himself like a hero on the first day of the
Oh
search.
yeah.
"I was running through waist-deep water, yelling until my throat hurt,
Mm.
ahead of the helicopters and drones. But when people saw him in interviews, he looked calm, clean, and put together. He didn't look like someone who had just been through all that effort." Then there was the language both parents started using.
Superman, hey, who knows? Maybe he's fast as lightning. Or maybe just dumb in a box of hammers. Thing. But he tried. He ran. He got so far that his throat was hurting. When the media got there, he's coming out in the woods. His clothes was dry. You cannot be no dumber than that. Surely to God, if that's the case, he wouldn't have had no trouble doing some acting. I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. But through all that, running through water waist deep in the mud, staying ahead of everybody, then play out, and then they watched him when he come off the trail. His clothes was dry. and that I've seen some stupid things in my time, but that beats it right there. Dummy.
Just one day after the kids disappeared, Mahea spoke like someone in mourning. "We're full of pain and sorrow," she said. "I'm just trying to stay hopeful." Even more troubling was how Daniel described the kids. Instead
She's so hopeful that she ran off.
of begging for their return, he spoke as if explaining how easy it would be to kidnap them. "They're easy to take. If they made it to the road, they'd get in any car if offered food or candy." By May 17th, Daniel's words became even more unsettling. "I really hope they find something," he said. "I'm still out here searching, still fighting. That's all I can do." He didn't say, "I hope they find Lily and Jack." He said, "something." That choice of word bothered many people. Parents search for their children. not just for something. He kept repeating, "If anybody knows anything, just come forward." Again, it sounded distant, not personal. Later, he said, "I just hope for something positive, a positive outcome that brings the kids home. The main goal is to find the truth." Using the word truth instead of their names made some experts feel uneasy. It sounded like he was focused more on facts or closure than on the children themselves.
They're the only ones that can
Meanwhile,
tell the
by May
truth.
9th, police had started searching the lakes around Lansdowne Station. The RCMP's underwater recovery team was now involved. That meant officers were seriously thinking the children may have.
They should never try to dive them rivers and creeks before they could use cadaver dogs. Cadaver dogs can smell up to 6 to 7 feet underwater, but they've not done that. They could take an old fashioned hound and do the same thing, but they're taking police canines. They're really not trained for that. But I'm telling you, a good old hound or cadaver dogs, or if they're under that old sticky mud, even if they're covered in lime to cover up the smell, them dogs will lay just right down because they know where that person's at. And they done said 1 to 2 feet in. So any cadaver dog could find them within minutes. Yeah, yeah, hmm sure did. When the water got hot, she's gone. When that first picture come out of summer, all bruised up and her head shaved, she cut out.
Drowned, or worse, that someone had placed their bodies in water. At the RCMP station in Tel Aviv, people.
They wouldn't just anybody place them to babies, not just anyone.
Began leaving flowers and a giant white teddy bear. A small memorial was forming. It was a quiet sign of a community that was still hoping, but also hurting. Even though Lily and Jack were still officially missing, the community was already mourning them, like they were gone for good. Then on May 13th,
They have that
something
gut
happened that
feeling.
experts say revealed a lot about how broken things had become. At exactly 3:04 p.m., the RCMP sent out a press release correcting the spelling of Lily's name. For 11 days, they had been spelling it Lily, but it turned out her name was spelled Lilly. It might seem like a small mistake, but it shocked people. After almost 2 weeks of searching, after thousands of hours spent looking for her, police still didn't know how to spell her name. That simple error showed something deeply wrong: poor communication between the family and investigators. By May 15th, police had selected 35 people for formal interviews. These were people from the local area who knew the family or had direct connections to Lily and Jack. They had also received more than 180 tips from the public, but many of those.
And if this don't touch people, just think. 4 and 6 year old, that's still a baby, both of them. I mean, come on, we're not stupid here. There ain't no way in hell Jack got on that dadgum school bus. And it would be stupid to say that he walked them to the end of the drive and they got on the school bus, watched them go in the school bus, but then turn right around, come back to the house and report the children missing. That don't make no logic. Something happened either late Thursday night or Friday morning, and they said plainly, Mom didn't want to see it, didn't want to hear it. She will never see us again. That just breaks your heart. I mean,
Turned out to be useless. The RCMP team now included major crime detectives and forensic experts. They were clearly treating the case as more than just two kids getting lost. On May 17th, search efforts began again. This time, more than 100 people from 5 different search and rescue teams joined. One of the managers, Amy Hansen, explained why they returned. "We wanted to bring in new people, fresh eyes," she said. "We still haven't solved this." By Sunday, May 18th, even more volunteers, over 115, came to help. They searched areas around Garlock Road again. But by the end of the day, Hansen said something no one wanted to hear. "We don't plan to keep searching tomorrow." That evening, the RCMP announced the ground search was officially over, at least for now. Investigators were now reviewing everything to decide what to do next.
If they would do that and not just say it, but do it, every one of them, searchers, police, investigators, whole 9 yards, leave. Get the hell out of there. Give it 1, maybe 2 weeks. He'll go right back to the spot wherever they're at. You'll start hearing rumors about her talking, and with him being open as he is and dumb as he is, they're going to get caught in their tracks. Because he's going to make sure that there's nothing else, nowhere to be fixed, covered up, so it can stay just like that and it'll turn into a cold case. They've got to put pressure on him and her. If not, this thing ain't never going to come out. And right now is the best time. At least take them to the jailhouse for neglect. At least do that much. And like I said, interrogate them for like 48 hours, because that's all you can hold them anyway, because they'd bail out. But if they would hound them and interrogate them like that separately, one of them or both of them is going to start singing like a daggone bird. There's nobody going to talk. There's nothing extra going to come out. There are no details from either parent going to ever be said, as long as everybody's crowded in there and still looking. They got to make them people feel that we're done. We're not looking again. That's up to y'all. Guarantee you things will change. You didn't get a notification? That got it? Well, you're still here. Thank you.
But it was clear
You're going to have to
this was
really
no longer just a
rewatch
search and
this
rescue
one.
mission. It was becoming a full criminal case. As media attention grew around the world, things got messy online. People on social media began pointing fingers, making wild claims, and spreading rumors,
Because of
mostly
what the
about the
children
family.
said.
It got so bad that Canadian lawyers had to step in and warn the public. If you spread lies or false accusations about this case online, you could face legal trouble. Under Nova Scotia's Cyber Protection Act, people who harass or spread harmful rumors online can be taken to court. And in this case, the online speculation was so bad, legal warnings had to be made. Meanwhile, the school bus kept coming. Brian Ward, the same driver who used to drop off Lily and Jack, still drove past the small white trailer on Garlock Road every day. And every day, the kids on the bus looked out the window and asked, "Did they find Jack and Lily yet?" Ward's answer was always the same: "Not yet. The police are doing everything they can." The seats where Lily and Jack used to sit, up front on the right, were still empty. Their name tags were still taped above them. They hadn't been touched since April 29th, the last day Brian saw them at the end of that dirt road. Back inside the trailer, the walls still had the kids' drawings taped up. Lily's paper was about her mom. "My mom makes cupcakes, plays with toys, and watches movies. I love my mom." Jack's red painting of a bug showed his love for digging in the dirt and looking for little creatures. When reporters later took pictures inside the home, those drawings looked like silent ghosts of a family that had suddenly vanished. Just a few feet away, out in the woods, kids' toys were still lying on the ground. It looked like playtime had stopped in the middle of a moment and never started again. Madison Spears, a neighbor who lived about a kilometer away and had known Daniel since they were kids, remembered how her own 3-year-old daughter had gone to birthday parties with Lily and Jack. To think they're lost in those woods, it's heartbreaking, she said. This hits really close to home. Too close. And she wasn't the only one who felt that way. The whole town of Lansdowne Station was drowning in sadness. Day after day, hope turned into fear. The pain of the community was compared to a major industrial disaster that once killed 26 people. That's how heavy this felt. As the days turned to weeks and then to months, with no trace of Lily and Jack, people started asking harder questions. The official story from police was still the same, that the kids wandered off into the woods. More and more experts were saying something wasn't right. There were too many problems with that theory. Children as young as Lily and Jack rarely wander far from home. And even when they do, searchers almost always find something. A piece of clothing, a footprint, a clue. But here there was nothing. That made the idea of them just getting lost seem nearly impossible. Daniel started pushing another theory in public: kidnapping. He said the police should expand the search to airports and even provincial borders. But police said there was no evidence of a kidnapping, and because of that, no Amber Alert was ever sent out. Others believed maybe the kids had an accident. Maybe they fell into a lake or stream. That would explain the underwater searches.
They should have cut it off right there when he said that he made sure that they got on the school bus Friday morning. They should have cut it right there. I mean, that there ain't no way. Hope you watch this back, Lisa, and anybody else that watches this later on. Listen to what's being said, because y'all know as well as I do, this stuff don't add up. Just like Tanya said a minute ago, he's too little to go to schoolhouse. And she may be in kindergarten, if that. But Malaya left that day. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Like I said, she gets out about 3 today, so probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. Give people time to kind of get home. I'll see you then, and then we'll start talking back with Jack and Lily, and I'll jot down what I hear. Make sure that y'all continue to jot down some questions. Keep it on a child's level, and let's see what else we can get. I believe if we can all continue to do that and stay focused on what we're doing here, they'll have enough energy to speak. I love y'all. See you in a little while.